Welcome back. Marshall University School of Art and Design, inspiring the next generation, because that's always important. You got to inspire the next generation of artists to create work that you see right where you live, in your own city. Sandra Reed is a professor at Marshall, and she is here with sculptors Jonathan Cox and Frederick Hightower to talk about this upcoming, it's called a Public Art Mini Conference. What exactly, explain, what does that mean?
Very
Sounds
good.
Fascinating.
Well, public art is art that you encounter as you go about your life.
Just walking down the street.
Just walking down the street. So you're not going to a museum, you're not going to a gallery, but just in the course of your life. And so all those things that make a rich visual fabric and meaningful place. But the mini conference has a number of different parts. A center part of it starts 8:30 a.m. on Friday morning, October 18th, but the core of it is a panel that Frederick Hightower and Jonathan Cox are two of 5 public artists that we brought together to have a conversation on all sorts of aspects of it, behind the scenes, what goes into choosing the artist to create the public art, what is it about, where does it go, what permissions are needed, who pays for it, all those kind of fascinating issues.
Yeah, because there's so much that has to go into it.
So much.
And, you know, you have to be commissioned, you have to find, because it's not like sculptors and artists in general just have a big wad of cash in their pocket and do whatever they want. They have to be commissioned to do this work. Sculpting is fascinating, I think, for a lot of people because oftentimes they get to touch it. People in the public, do you find that as sculptors that you think it's like your work is probably the most public because people can literally oftentimes put their hands on it? Does that make it more exciting for you guys as artists?
That's one of the most wonderful parts of it for me.
I wondered.
I love having people really
feel the art.
Feel the art.
Literally.
See the piece, see how it's gone together, see what it looks like, see what it feels like. Can't do that in a museum.
No, that's very true. In public art, people do that. Do you ever find yourself, Frederick, outside of an area where you have something that is public art and just to see how people react to it? Do artists ever do that where they just kind of sit back like and watch it?
Well, you know, usually when you go up, I inspect my artwork and sometimes clean it. So sometimes people are looking at me like I'm weird.
Like, why is that guy cleaning it?
Yeah, but I think that's I think, you know, what was just said was important, that you know, with a bronze, you can touch it, and it's not something that's fragile. But you don't want nobody jumping on it.
No, there are limits, but people can get up close and personal with your art.
Yeah,
that's really kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, I've seen some where they put fences around that. I'm like, why? You know?
Right.
But,
yeah,
you know.
that makes perfect sense. So who else is going to be on this panel?
So Becky Borland is an artist from Baltimore, Maryland, who's been commissioned by Renewal through a T-Mobile grant to create sculptures at Central City. So she is our special guest who's coming to Huntington, and a lot of this is being built around the city's work and Renewal's work with her.
Okay. And this is a look right there.
Yeah, that's her work. So those are pieces that she has designed for the square that's across from the Wild Ramp, like with the new gazebo.
Spruce things up a lot.
Yeah, so she did lots of research, met with community members, is inspired by the industries of the area. It will be moving kind of like a combination of a kaleidoscope and a pinwheel, and so both metal and transparent acrylic pieces.
Why do you think public art is so important to be out there? Because, you know, and Frederick alluded to it, that you don't have to just go to a museum. You can see. Talk about the importance of that, because it's educating the public.
It definitely is, you know, so it's kind of interesting. Jonathan works primarily non-objectively or abstractly, and Frederick does figurative work. I think that some of the work that was shown by Frederick was like Katherine Johnson, and so Katherine Johnson is...
we saw some pictures.
Yeah, a scientist that more people need to know
West
about.
Virginia.
Yeah, and so, I don't know, like, how did you get to do Katherine Johnson?
Well, I did a commission of one, and this old lady was there, and she said, "You need to do my friend." And I'm like, who's your friend?
Who's your friend?
So the movie had just come out.
Oh my gosh.
So I went to see the movie.
How blown away were you when she told you who her friend was?
Right. I mean, it starts out saying she's from Lewisburg. So I did a prototype, presented it to the university, or Washington State University, because that's where she graduated from. And so from there, you know, the school, you know, they have to decide whether they want to do it, and then they got to raise some money. And it was excellent. So, you know, school raised money, and we're able to do it.
Oh, it's going to make you feel so good when you get, because you have to float it past them. You have to do that prototype, and then they, you know, you get, you know, a big acceptance. Because Admittedly, you guys have to sit. We hear stories all the time. There are sculptors who have public, and then they go. People say, "What is that?" It happens.
Yeah.
So Jonathan has an amazing commission right now for Slack Plaza in Charleston.
Oh, terrific.
44 foot long.
Yes, it's going to
Transform
be
that space.
a wall relief for Slack Plaza. It's a little over 40 feet wide, stainless steel and stained glass. It's about 8.5, 9 feet tall.
And when can we expect that?
It's in process now, and it's going to be installed after Christmas, probably early February.
Oh, so it's actually coming right up. I thought you were going to say 2027. No,
No,
this is
it's
happening.
coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Sandra, Jonathan, Frederick, we appreciate you coming in and talking about this. Obviously, we're going to hear a lot more about this.
Yeah.
So especially as it goes in. That's terrific. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.